Hello, Sonor family. Jules here, and I want to talk to you about a post I made on my forum. It was actually a poll, and the question was why you aren't buying the 150th anniversary shell set. Um, I mentioned this the other day on Coffee with Jules, and a response I got was this, but before I tell you, I just want you to know I'm not picking on this guy. Okay, everybody's entitled to an opinion. I'm not saying he's wrong or anything, and I hope he doesn't take offense when he sees this because it is certainly not meant in that way at all. But he basically said the price tag is why they're not moving so quickly, and a lot of people are struggling to buy groceries, let alone a $5,000 drum kit. So on the surface, I get that things are tight. At the same time, Sonor guys, when they get it in their head they're going to do something, they find a way to do it. And so, a hundred, $5,500 snare drums sold before they were ready to deliver. So just a snare drum for 5,500, they couldn't, you can't find one for sale. And pretty immediately they were all spoken for. So I realize that 15, 16,000 is a lot more than 5,000, but when you're comparing a whole shell set to just a snare drum, I don't think it's an outrageous amount of money, even all things considered. People are still buying drums, they're still buying expensive drums. Companies are still making expensive drums. So I took exception to that, and I came back and asked him, um, okay, if you had the money to spend on if you had that kind of money to spend on a drum set, is this the shell set you would buy? And his response was no, because it doesn't come with an 8-inch tom or an 18-inch floor tom. So I felt like that kind of helped me make my point. Um, just because somebody's got the money doesn't mean this is the drum set they're going to buy. So I'm going to move over here to another screen if I can find it. All right. So I did a poll on the forum, and I'm going to place a link to the forum in the comments here. So please go to the forum and look at this. Look at the forum, sign up for it if you haven't been there already and signed up. I think you're really going to like what we got going on and the direction things are going. It's got a lot of good information. It's a very new forum, but we've already got a good base of members and people with real solid knowledge and all that. So please sign up for that and enjoy that and make good use of it. So I did a poll with 10 options, and the most chosen option so far, now there's only been twelve votes. The most chosen option so far, 50% of the people said I cannot afford or justify such a purchase. And that is absolutely no surprise at all. I think that would be the one we would think would have the overwhelming majority. The next two posts are the next highest ranking, with two votes each. And one, it was, if I spend that much money, I would rather have something else. And I think that's reasonable. If you've got that kind of money, maybe it's time to go look at the configurator and build you something up like you want it. Not that, there's nothing wrong with the 150th anniversary stuff. I mean, if I were in the same position I was a few years ago, I would probably have the Sonor Lite in Heritage. So I'm not knocking what they've done at all. I actually think they've done a great job. So the tie for that about buying something else was lack of add-on options. Now I think that is a viable thought, and I kind of can't help but wonder if you look back to the Jubilee snare drum and the five-star drums they did 20 some odd years ago. Those drums shipped without badges. And what they did is they customized the badges for the buyer and sent them over. So, I wonder if anybody ever gave any thought to the fact that um, maybe they should make some add-ons, drill them for badges, but not ship them with badges, and wait and find out who buys them. And, so if you bought shell set number 51, and I know there's not a 51. I'm doing that on purpose. And you got your add-ons, they would actually have the badges made and sent to you that had the same serial number as the rest of your shell set. So I wonder if any thought was ever given to that. Or another idea could have been to open up a window of time that if you purchased the shell set within such and such period, you could order add-ons with the same features, made just like the rest of the drums. I wonder if that was ever a consideration. The only, you know, the only criticism I've got of what they've done, I think the Fusion sizes were a nice idea because they married modern sizing with the older type shells and all that in feel. And where I think they kind of missed the boat um, was on the heritage stuff. They've got them in modern configurations. 10, 12, 14, 16 was not necessarily, what everybody was buying when the Signature Series was a big deal, what, 40 years ago and 35, 40, wherever in there. I'm not going to try to do the math right now. Um, but I wonder if they'd have offered just your basic 12, 13, 16 and had, maybe a 10 and an 18-inch add-on possibility, would that have attracted more people? And we don't have enough data here to answer that. So I'd like everybody that's watching this to please sign up for the forum. Just, if you don't do anything more than just go in there and vote, I'm going to run this video again next week and come up with a new set of figures and all that, see if much has changed. So other reasons that one vote each is I'm planning to purchase a different set, or I'm planning to design/purchase, or I'm waiting on an order for a set of SQ2s already. So that would be another deterrent for me if I already had something in the works that I wanted to do or had something special on order. That'd be a reason I wouldn't be interested in, a high dollar special run drum set. And the last one that's got a single vote is I don't like the hardware colors. And this is one of those things where, there's no right or wrong answer from the manufacturing standpoint. Um, the original signatures, came with chrome, and so did the Sonor lights. So to deviate from that, was that a big deal? Apparently not, because out of 12 votes, only one person said they didn't like the hardware colors. So I still would like more input on this to get a better feel, because we've only got 12 votes, and that's that's a handful of people to express an opinion. I'd really like to see a lot more votes on this, just so we can kind of see, okay, what happened here. Did the lack of add-on options, was that really a big deal? Was the configuration they chose, all of the options were the 22, 10, 12, 14, 16, which seem like safe bets, but at the same time, maybe somebody that would have been drawn to a signature heritage would have been more interested in something different, or maybe somebody wanting a Sonor Light Fusion would have preferred a 20-inch kick drum. So it's just hard to say what's what with all that. I would really appreciate your input. So I'm going to put the link, like I said, in the description. I hope you go check that out. I hope you join us. I hope you participate, and I hope you have a good time. We will see you soon.